let's have this Tottenham autopsy then, shall we, Dave? Losing 6-1 to anyone is humiliating, but for the team that's trying to dislodge you from that sort of top tier of English football is an absolute humiliation, isn't it? And the news, obviously, that's just broken about Christian Stellini losing his job, sacking an interim manager, that's rare as well. You know things are going bad when that happens, but the statement from Daniel Levy said that the action had to be taken because it was an unacceptable result. Why he stuck with Stellini in the first place is beyond me, because he's just basically, he's Conte's man, isn't he? You usually take the backroom staff with you, but I'm guessing it was money, like it had to pay him off now. Ryan Mace's at helm. They're just trying to limp over the line, aren't they, really, until the summer?
I'm just bored of talking about Tottenham. Just how many stupid decisions they make, like over and over. And it actually made me laugh a little bit, the statement that they kind of released, because it was almost as though he was a permanent manager, almost like a permanent coach, which we know wasn't the case. So I don't really know why you need to explain yourself in your decision. The fans already know it was a bad decision to keep him on anyway. Everyone's wondering why he's still in that job. So for him to release that statement, I thought was a bit of a joke in itself, and a little bit of a... I just think Tottenham fans have been taken for mugs by Daniel Levy, and have been for a considerable time. The way they've been handled as a club has been a disaster for a good amount of time, and I just don't know where they're going to go next. It's going to be interesting. They need to look obviously for who they're going to get in place in terms of manager for next season, but they don't need to make any rash decisions like they have done in the past. And they need to, obviously, they've got Ryan Mason in, who was already on the coaching. He was already on the coaching staff, wasn't he? But then, is there any coaching staff beyond that? I don't really know.
Well, there's going to be, but everything will be set in place just to get them over the line. That's what I mean. It looks so temporary, as if it wasn't temporary enough with Stellini in charge. So they've written off the season, haven't they? They're going to slide out of any European places now, and there's no surprise because form-wise, there's numerous teams around them that could overtake them now. So it's a case of how low could Spurs go. But where's the ambition to fight for that? I would have thought that they would have taken the decision to first of all axe Conte with somebody in line, ready to go. And we knew Nagelsmann wasn't ready to go back into football just yet. And then the Stellini decision as well makes me think maybe they've got somebody in line. Maybe Nagelsmann's had a change of heart and said he's ready to step in. I doubt that's the case though now. So it's literally just he's pulling the trigger because he's seen something that's humiliated the club and is washing his hands of responsibility and placing it on Stellini. I think that's really unfair on him, to be fair. I think he deserved better treatment than that. And I don't know what outcome any Tottenham fan would have expected with that decision to kind of axe Conte and put Stellini in charge. It was always headed for disaster, wasn't it?
There's zero chance Nagelsmann's going to Tottenham. And do you know what's quite the funny thing is he's got the opportunity to go to either Tottenham or Chelsea, and they're both a complete joke at the minute. But
who's worse out of the two though? Who would you go to?
You'd say Chelsea, wouldn't you? Just because they're being backed, the investment's there. They've got a more talented group of players than Tottenham have, but then the instability at that club is ridiculous as well. So, I mean, it's not a great choice, is it?
What's behind it though? What would you say is behind the chaos that's going on at Spurs at the moment? Not just at the moment, but it's been a few seasons in the making, hasn't it? They've had several managers that have been quite high profile, and Miles has said on this podcast that maybe it's because it's been too much about the managers and not about the team. But I think Spurs lost their direction when they sacked Pochettino, really, didn't they? They were onto something, didn't invest while they were at their peak. And this decline's been coming for a few years now, but I think anyway.
Yeah, it's the recruitment from top to bottom, not let alone the chairman, who I just think he needs to. The time is to leave Spurs now. I think he's ran his course.
Yeah,
someone else needs to come in and with a true direction, a true sort of path at which they want to take the club forward. And I actually kind of sympathise a little bit for Spurs fans, because it feels a little bit like what United fans have gone through in the past. The amount of the managers we've been through, the amount of players, bad choices that the club have made in bringing certain players in, wasting money. It does feel quite similar in that respect. Even though obviously the amount of resources that the clubs have is quite a stark contrast, but there's so much there that needs resolving that you just don't know where to start. I don't even know where to begin with it, to be honest. It doesn't look like...
Well, imagine how Harry Kane's feeling then.
Well,
what's his decision now? Well, I mean, you can't stay at Spurs after the season they've had, surely. He's getting to an age now where he needs to move to win something. And at Spurs, he's probably given them a chance to try and turn it around season after season. It's definitely not coming in the next 5 years, is it? So he's got...
The thing is, whoever... I can't even sympathise with Harry Kane, and do you know why? Whoever his agent was when he signed that 6-year contract, if he's still his agent now, I'll be amazed, because he should be gone.
It's his brother, Dave. I think it's his brother. Seriously.
But honestly, with the history of obviously Spurs and obviously the lack of success they've had over the years, what would actually possess you to sign a 6-year deal? And knowing the way of and the demeanour and the temperament of Daniel Levy, you really think he's going to let you go that easily? It's never going to happen.
Well, if Levy had bit the bullet and just let Kane go at a time when they'd have got maximum money for him, they could have done something with that. But then I don't think I trust Spurs to spend that kind of money wisely.
The thing is, the clubs aren't daft now. They're not reckless.
Yeah. You've
got the likes of obviously United, Bayern Munich being linked with Harry Kane. There's a lot coming out from Tottenham. It sounds like leaks from potential sources saying that they want 100+ million, and they're not going to get that. He's in the last year of his contract, and there are other players out there. There are other forwards out there. They're younger, talented players out there as well. The likes of Osimhen, Højlund, obviously from Atalanta, who's been linked as well. There are other options, certainly, and I just can't see anybody coming in and offering 100 million. I'd say 70 million is a fair price at max.
That's generous for the time left on his contract and his age, I think, and he needs to go. I just think they shouldn't drag their heels about a deal for him. I think he deserves some kind of recognition of what he's done for that club and how long he's been there, and I think letting him go for a fair price would be the right thing to do. But this is Daniel Levy.
Did you see what Danny Rose was saying after the game?
Yeah.
Quite damning, really. Yeah, really damning, isn't it?
It's a mess at Spurs, isn't it? But where they'll finish and how low they'll go, I have no idea, because there's so many teams behind them that are in much better form. So you can see them sinking as low as Chelsea, can't you? Which is a sad way to end a season that promised so much at the start.